Welcome back to the watch party.
Hi.
We're gonna do another not documentary on this watch party,
Yeah.
but we're gonna talk about our favorite person, everyone's favorite person, the person we want to wake up in the morning feeling like. P. Diddy. Okay, so you and I both took a little bit of a deep dive on this. I listened to a podcast, The Vile Files.
Yes.
Where they had the girl from Franklin, who's the attorney. What's her name?
EDB Emily Baker.
Yes. And got some info. But I also have a conspiracy theory that I haven't told you about or shared yet.
And I believe it already. I believe it.
Okay.
It's true.
So do you want to do the technical stuff of where we're at, what's going on, and then I'll give you my conspiracy theory? Or do you want my conspiracy theory first?
Maybe we should, for anybody who doesn't know, which I don't know who wouldn't, but
if you're living under a rock and you don't know,
it's literally everywhere.
Yeah. Our man, Sean, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, however many names he's got.
Puffy.
Oh, he changed his name to Peace.
And now
Peace and Love or something.
What the
I don't know. He thinks he's Prince, but
I need a whole deep dive on just his name changes and why. Why now Love?
That'll be for another episode because we're gonna have to do another episode about him
100%.
because we don't know anything. We know some things. We don't know a lot yet.
We don't know everything.
Very, very early stages. So
yes,
take it from the top. Our boy P. Diddy's been arrested. What's going on?
So the indictment that has been put out for him, I made notes.
There's a lot to cover. We need notes.
Allegedly, okay, that at least between 2008 and the present, that Combs abused, threatened, coerced victims to obviously fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. But the government has got him on RICO charges.
Yeah, so I don't know how much you know about federal, this is a federal charge, federal investigation. They don't f around. And they don't go after stuff that they don't think they have a really good chance of winning. So there are probably tons of people, probably not tons, but there are probably tons of cases that have potential federal charges, right? But if the federal government does not feel like they can win or that they have substantial evidence or they feel like maybe it's gonna, it's not, I don't want to say a sure thing, right? Because nothing's a sure thing, innocent until proven guilty. But if they don't feel like they're about as close to a sure thing as you can get, they're not coming for you.
Yeah. Which would also explain why it took them so long, because they raided his homes in March.
Yeah.
And then the indictment didn't come until, weeks ago at this point?
Yeah, it was sometime in September.
It's been very recent. So I know in the press conference that I don't know who it was. Whoever it was.
Somebody.
The guy.
Yep.
One of the questions that the press put out was, well, what took so long? And he's like, well, I can't really answer that.
So from what I heard on the Vile Files, listening to the other girl talk about it, there is so much digital evidence that I'm sure it's insane. And you also have to remember that before the raids, there was the Cassie trial.
Yep.
Which was civil, right? She sued him civilly. My suspicion is that they've probably been going off some speculation for a while. And I feel like maybe the Cassie trial, a victim finally coming out publicly and saying, this person did these things to me, XYZ, whatever. I've heard that other victims are now coming forward.
Yes.
It's kind of like the Bill Cosby thing where one person now opens the floodgates.
Yeah.
And so maybe this also gave them a little more traction in some ways, I guess.
They changed a law where I believe it was...
It's in New York.
Yes.
Is that what you're thinking about? That victims of sexual assault, it extended the statute of limitations.
Yes. So you had that year-long window where you could then go file. And so...
It extended it. And from what I understand, the rationale behind that is because this is a very, obviously it's physically traumatic, right? But it's also emotionally and psychologically traumatic. And for someone, they did it in order to give victims the time to process what happened to them and then be able to move forward with telling you. Yeah. Because I don't care who you are. We've all had the same thought of why are you coming forward? Why didn't you tell somebody at the time that it happened? Because especially with sexual assault and things like that, the evidence goes away.
Yes.
It is a very short window of the time that you can actually collect physical evidence of those kinds of things, right? So I know that all of us, we're not great people, but we're all human, right? Have had that thought of like, well, you should have said something earlier.
Uh-huh.
And I think we all know that's not practical.
No. And so many people, especially when you're talking about something like this, which is sex trafficking, which there is such a misconception about sex trafficking where most people, myself included, before I started learning about it, was sex trafficking was you got abducted by a random person, sold into
you're kidnapped and you're sold to like a third world country somewhere, locked in a dungeon, basement, whatever.
No, you're gone. That's not the main form of sex trafficking.
No,
the main form of sex trafficking is you are lured into a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
So
it's
for Cassie,
grooming. Yes. Essentially, it's grooming.
100%. So Cassie's in a relationship with him, and then he is using all kinds of things to then put her in situations where she's doing things that she doesn't want to do, she's not comfortable doing.
Right, and she's being manipulated by the person that she loves, that she trusts, that when you're in a committed relationship, the things that you expect from your partner they're not going to harm you intentionally. They're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to put you in these situations. So, like, it makes it, number one, it makes these situations seem not as bad.
Yep.
Like, in your mind, if a stranger came up to you and was like, hey, do you want to have sex with me and 10 of my friends? You're like, no. But when you're in a relationship with a committed person, you're still going to think, no. But are you also then going to be like, well, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is because this person is presenting it to me. And the way they're presenting it to me is not... They wouldn't have malicious intentions for bringing this up to me because they wouldn't put me in this situation.
And a lot of times, like, I know Centoya Brown was a victim of this. She was 15 at the time she was arrested for murder.
Listen, don't even get me started.
Don't even get me started. She could not consent. She was a child.
She was a child.
But anyway... Same situation. She had a boyfriend and he was, oh, well, but we need money but we need this. And if we had more money, I could buy you a ring. We could get married. We could be together. So you just got to go do this for a little bit.
Yeah. When this is temporary. This is only one time.
For Cassie and allegedly victims of P. Diddy, he's also drugging them.
Yeah.
Forcefully keeping them, kidnapping them. He kept her in hotels more than once for weeks at a time.
That is
until bruises went away so nobody would know.
Yeah.
Because if she just goes, she's a public figure. If she goes to an event with him and she has bruises all over her face.
People are going to be like, what happened?
Yeah. I mean, obviously
you can only fall down the stairs and run into a doorknob so many times.
Exactly. And I'm guessing she didn't have access to Amber Heard's bruise cover-up kit.
Oh, yeah.
That covered them completely and totally, even in water. But so unfortunately for her, she had to be
and you think about it too, she was a rising star at the time that they got together, right?
She was 19 and he was 37.
But I'm sure also in her mind, whether he outwardly said it to her or not, she probably is like, my career is tied to this man.
100%.
My success or failure depends on this man.
Yes. And so
it's a power imbalance that is unreal.
Insurmountable. And I've watched and read a lot of stuff. I know you are too. I'm completely consumed with it. I don't talk to me about anything else right now. I can't. But what somebody said, and I don't remember who because I've watched so much stuff on it, they were like, now you could get discovered on YouTube. You can.
That wasn't the thing in 2008.
Yeah, you can put your product out there on TikTok or whatever. But then you had to have somebody like Diddy who then was going to put your stuff out to the masses and back you and whatever. Right. So you were beholden.
And he is a financial powerhouse.
Absolutely.
He's got all of the funds. He's got all of the connections. He's got all of the things. In 2008, that was a dream landing 100%. For her to be there. Like, there are so many girls, and probably guys too, who wanted to be her. Who wanted to be in her position. If they, like, just had an ounce of the, the treatment that she got, they could have been huge.
Exactly.
And so that also creates a pressure for her.
Yep.
to be like, I'm in this good position. Am I really going to throw it away because he wants me to sleep with his friend? Like,
exactly.
What is my career worth to me? And those are not
Exactly.
things that you should have to be thinking about.
Absolutely not.
And especially not at 19 years old.
No. And I saw a video of him introducing Cassie to his like team, I guess, at Bad Boy or whatever. And was like, hey, I want to introduce y'all to Cassie. Like, she's coming on, blah, blah, blah. And they pan over to her and she's like, hi. She looks like a child.
Because she was a child.
She was so young. And, you know, like, when you're 18, 19 is grown. You know, when you're 18, 19, you're grown. But you look at her face at that time and you see her face now. She was a baby, and it is disgusting. Well,
and even though you're 18, 19, you're an adult. She's new to the music industry. She's being dazzled by him spending money on her and taking her to, I mean, I don't know what her life was like before financially, but I know she didn't have Diddy money.
She didn't have Diddy money, no.
No matter how much money her family had, I can guarantee you they didn't have Diddy money.
Yeah, she wasn't flying on private jets.
Yeah, so like he probably is love bombing her in a lot of ways.
Big time.
And he's wowing her with his lifestyle. And then I'm sure if she ever like put up any resistance, he was like, well, this is going to make or break your career. You know that, right?
And
everybody's doing this, I'm sure is what he's telling her.
Well,
this is an industry norm.
I'm sure she was seeing a lot of it.
Probably seeing it, yeah.
I think he signed her for like a 10 record deal or something like that. 10 album.
I don't follow Cassie's career, right?
I don't either.
I know she had one song that I love, Me and You. I'm sure she had other songs after that, and she may have put out other albums like that, but I can almost guarantee that the majority of the public knows that one song from her.
Yes.
And I don't mean that like disrespectful to her or her career, but
no.
I also feel like it is very telling of the reach that he has.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about some more of the technical stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like just some things for everybody to think about. I don't know if everybody knows.
Oh, also Nikita's an attorney, so.
Okay, but let's not get crazy.
This is not legal advice, but listen to her.
It's not my legal advice, and I don't do criminal law. If you want to go to jail, I'd be happy to be your attorney because I guarantee you we can get you there real quick.
There you go.
So that's my disclaimer. It's a federal trial, so we are not probably going to see.
I'm so bummed.
You're not going to hear audio. You're not going to see videos. So when we say we'll be watching this trial, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be reactivating my Twitter account.
Exactly. And watching journalists live tweet.
What we're going to get out of this is, first of all, we're not going to know anything outside of the indictment until the trial starts. We might hear some things kind of here and there afterwards, but basically all of our information is going to come through these journalists who are independent and are sitting in the courtroom live tweeting what's happening.
Yeah.
Because they don't allow cameras. They don't allow video recordings, like none of that stuff. So it's going to be heavily covered, but also not, I guess, if that makes sense. Like there are going to be people who are very invested in this, who are showing up every day and who are giving us as much as they can give us.
Yeah.
But we're not, this isn't your standard, like it's going to be on every news media outlet. We're going to see him sitting on the stand, you know, like it's not going to be that.
Yeah.
And that's very disappointing.
So disappointing because I want every moment.
I want to see his stupid smug face. Did you see where they said he walked into the courtroom with his hands behind his back and then he went to sit down and everyone realized he wasn't cuffed? He walked in to the indictment like he was cuffed, right? Because he's in custody. Nope. When they brought him in, he walked in, hands behind his back, sat down at the table and put his hands on the table. And yeah, so.
Diddy money.
Well, I don't know if he even should have been in cuffs at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Or it just seemed like a yucky thing. Like, is this for show?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Ugh. I can't say anything about him. There's like one picture. I can't remember if is it a mugshot or just a picture? I don't know. I think it might have been his mugshot. I don't know. But his eyes just look beady and evil.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you know, in scary movies where like somebody's eyes go, it's like just black.
Yeah.
That's what his freaking eyes look like.
That's creepy. I don't like that.
I don't like him.
But so all we know really so far is that they're getting him on RICO charges.
Yeah, and right now there's only one victim named in all of the well, not named, just victim 1, which we all know
Right.
is Cassie. They don't list other victims.
I'm sure they will be coming out en masse, though.
And that's what I was wondering. So if the indictment, because one of the defense's things about getting him out of jail, because they keep
Yeah.
doubling down and trying to get him out, and the government is like, no,
Nuh-uh.
not gonna
Yeah.
happen. But they're like, well, he's obviously not dangerous, and there's only one victim named in the sex trafficking.
Obviously
or
not
listed.
dangerous. Are you kidding?
I know.
Okay.
Dude.
Okay,
the
which is going to get me to my
audacity.
conspiracy theory. But before that, so the RICO charges, that's racketeering something crime organizations that I don't remember. Do you remember what RICO is?
I think I might have it written
Okay.
down.
Either way, RICO was intended.
Racketeering, influence, and corrupt organizations.
Yep. It's intended to be able to get the person at the top, right? So it was created for mob,
Yes.
to get the mob
Organized
bosses, right?
crime.
In order to be able to cut the head off the snake kind of thing, because he's probably not getting his hands dirty as much as we think he is, but he's not, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, he is orchestrating the whole thing. Allegedly he's orchestrating the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
The indictment
not,
says he's orchestrating the whole
yeah, the indictment says he's orchestrating the whole thing, which means he's probably not physically hurt. Not that he's not physically hurt people before, but he's probably not doing some of the horrific things that we are going to hear about. We're going to find out that other people are actually doing that.
Yes.
But it is at his direction. So that's what RICO is for anyone who didn't know.
Yes.
It's to try to it's to use the crimes that are happening around him with the people that he's influencing in order to get to him.
Right. And so they don't necessarily get named, but
Right.
do they often get immunity or at least reduced sentences if they're implicated? Or
I would imagine that probably depends. I'm sure they are able to make some deals if
Yeah.
they're willing to
yeah.
give some information. But his phones have been tapped, and they've been tapped for a hot
For a long
minute.
time.
And like I said, they mentioned that the digital evidence is incredibly huge, which means too that even though we've got this indictment, right, the prosecution has to turn all of this over to the defense, and the defense has to have adequate time to go through it.
Yeah.
Which is standard for anyone, right? Like, if you walk in and you're like, I'm going to defend Torella in, whatever. And I get there and they're like, okay, we're being indicted today. We're setting the trial for a month. Here's 10,000 boxes worth of text messages, voicemails, phone calls, blah, blah, blah. I'm not realistically going to be able to get through that in a month, right? So I would not be surprised if we see the defense ask for
Additional time.
additional time. That wouldn't be surprising, and I wouldn't take that as as anything like negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
or like pro Diddy.
Right.
I expect that to happen.
Yeah. They're going to have a lot to come through.
Oh, hey, look at you.
I did there.
Dang.
Like and he wanted to, allegedly wanted to record all of this stuff.
I'm assuming he wanted to record it for blackmail, but this is my PSA, not legal advice. PSA, don't record shit. I mean, I want to record shit all the time because I don't want to have to like commit literally everything to memory. I just want to be like, let me record this and then destroy it because I understand that it can come up later. Not that I intend to do crimes, but if I did, I wouldn't record them.
Exactly.
I didn't do it, but if I did,
Oh, did he do it?
Did he?
Did he?
Okay, I think that's what we have to name this episode. Did he do it?
Well, did you hear about 50 Cent's documentary?
Girl, yes, and I will be watching. There are two haters in the world that I admire with the utmost like love and respect, and that is 50 Cent
Yes.
and Kendrick Lamar.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, if I can get a hater,
The level
if I can be a hater.
Yeah, the level of petty that I aspire to be.
Oh my
is
God, have
50
you
Cent.
seen, I know, have you heard him talk about buying out the
Ja Rule.
front row Ja Rule's concert tickets? If you guys haven't seen that clip, it's freaking hilarious. He bought them on Groupon.
Yes.
He bought the first 3 rows of his concert. And so he just.
I thought it was the first 50 rows.
Oh, I thought he said. Maybe
I'm thinking 50 because 50 Cent. It was
the
lot,
first
though.
several rows of his concert. So literally there was no front row audience for him to perform to.
Yeah.
And my favorite is at the end when he's like, we're going to find out if you're a performer today. And I was like, Damn.
He just hates that man so much.
I know.
That, like, he waited years and then was like, oh, here's another thing I can do.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. That's how much he hates Diddy.
Yeah.
Well, more. Because he's been gathering evidence for years.
Yes.
For this documentary. And supposedly Netflix just bought it.
Nuh-uh.
Allegedly.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Per whatever news article I clicked.
Yeah. We got to do better at remembering our sources. Okay, so sources. Here's my conspiracy theory. I'm totally repeating a theory that I heard on TikTok. I do not remember the girl who has been posting it, so that's my bad. If y'all know who she is or if you've seen it.
Yeah. If we can find it, we'll link it.
Yeah, we'll link it if we can find it. I'm sure I can find it. It's all over my For You page. Okay, so here's the conspiracy theory. Kim Porter, which was Diddy's baby mama. I don't think they were ever married. He's got the twin girls with her. She also had a son from a previous marriage that I think Diddy adopted.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think they also have a son together as well.
Who also has some sexual assault charges coming out.
Well, listen, girl.
Ish.
Let me tell you about what's going on.
Okay.
It may have been released after she passed away. I think it was released after she passed away, right? So Kim Porter passed away. It's been a couple of years ago now of pneumonia.
Pneumonia at 47.
Pneumonia at 47. Put a pin in that. Okay. So her book comes out. I remember hearing about a Kim Porter book coming out, blah, 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 like her memoir, whatever. And
Oh,
I was
it came out before now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it just came out.
No, I'm pretty sure it came out before now. Well, my phone's recording. You've got your phone. You can look it up. I don't know. Either way, it came out after she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hearing about it come out, didn't think anything of it. But then, like, I literally remember, like, as a... Bless you.
Oh, my God. It's right there. Come on.
God bless you.
So sorry.
Okay, I blessed you once. That's all I can do. Any more sneezes are between you and God.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to...
If you interrupt my story again, I'm going to just walk out.
Holy shit. I'm going to try not to.
No, I'm joking. Okay. It's fine. Okay, so Kim releases a book that's like a memoir. Allegedly, well, I mean, obviously Kim doesn't release it because she's passed.
Correct.
But allegedly this book is written by Kim, is my understanding. It is her memoir. So I remember hearing about it like just literally like a blip in the radar, like, oh, it came out, blah, 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 whatever. Didn't read it, didn't care, everyone puts out a memoir about something, so whatever.
Right.
So then all of a sudden this Diddy stuff starts coming out and this girl starts popping up on my For You page and she's reading and summarizing the chapters. And like she reads, like she'll literally read some of it on there, right? And so like some of the stuff she's reading is, obviously this book is written from Kim's perspective. She reads a section, or I saw a clip of her talking about, do you remember the nightclub shooting with Diddy and J-Lo?
Oh, yeah.
Was that 2008?
That was 1999, 2000?
That's right. 2008 was Cassie.
Yes.
Yeah. And I forgot. J-Lo and Diddy were the thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, she was the thing with everybody. And still is.
Yeah.
Love her, though. She loves love, and I love that for her. Yeah. It's not worked out well for her so far, but
I think she loves
like,
her.
I think she loves the idea of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so in the book, this little excerpt that she's talking about, Kim is with Diddy, and J-Lo comes over and is like, what the f*** have you done? No one was supposed to die. Like, this is getting out of hand. Talking about, because the guy in the nightclub shooting died, and is basically like pissed at him and is like, this is going to ruin my career. Like, you're going to go to jail. Like, what's happening? And essentially he's just like, you don't need to worry about that. Like, whatever. And just like brushes it off. Like, murdering this dude isn't a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
The way the clip made it sound to me was that she showed up and was saying, you did this. Why did you do this? Now, whether or not he actually did it, neither here nor there.
And the woman who survived saw him, she says.
Yeah. So another artist is who ends up taking the fall for it, Shine. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be, allegedly, according to this book, the next Biggie. Like, he was the guy that was supposed to be, like, you remember it was Diddy and Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was supposed to come in and be the new, like, his new right-hand man, sidekick guy, whatever. Shine goes to jail for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Is he out?
Yes.
Okay.
He got deported
Yeah.
back, and he's now a politician, which has dad is as well.
That sounds right.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, that comes up. But from Kim's perspective in this storytelling, he was very much involved, right? So then I see this other clip, and it's her talking about how when she first met Diddy, it was at like a fashion week, or because she was a model. It was like at some sort of like a fashion event. It was like some sort of event where they met each other, right? That was like related to her work. And he was all over her. Oh, I'm so in love with you, blah, 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 whatever. And she was like, not interested. And again, this is all based on this book, and we're going to come full circle with why I'm just saying this is her perspective, right? She kind of is trying to blow him off, whatever, not interested. And he just keeps on, and he finally wears her down, and she agrees to date him, whatever. Then they break up. You know, do you remember their relationship? Like, they were on and off. I mean, literally until she died, they were on again, off again.
Oh, yes.
Like,
you're talking about Kim?
Yeah, I'm talking about Kim. They're
okay.
on and off again the whole time. So she finds out she's pregnant, and he tells her, according to this, what this girl is reading, according to this book, right? He tells her, oh, all my friends are going to want to sleep with you. And she was like, excuse me? And he was like, yeah, they're going to be so excited about this. Like, and then she's like, I'm not going to sleep with your friends. And he's like, oh, no, you are. Like, it's such an honor to be able to do this. Like, they're going to gain energy from you. And like it's wild. I'm telling you. I'm going to find her TikToks, and I'm going to link them. This is like multiple parts of her talking about this.
So he's saying once she's pregnant, they'll want to sleep with her. What? Because she can't get pregnant again?
No, because they're going to take energy from the baby. Yeah.
Ew, his baby's energy? Ew.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, she's horrified. And again, this is according to the book that this girl is reading. So I have not read the book. I don't know. She's like, in my mind, I know that because they don't want to sleep with her till the end of the pregnancy, till like right before she's going to have the baby. And she's like, I spend this whole pregnancy knowing that I'm going to be raped, essentially, because I don't want to do this at the end of the pregnancy. I guess she goes through with it because there's another excerpt where she's talking about being pregnant again with the twins and already knowing that the same thing's going to happen. Also in this book, there's some other stuff, but allegedly in this book, Kim names names, like straight up. She mentions Usher, which devastates me. But also, if you remember, Usher was a minor he was first with Diddy. He was what, 16?
15. I think 15. Okay. And he lived with them for like a year.
Yeah. Justin Bieber.
Yes.
He gets name dropped in the book.
And he was a child.
Mm-hmm. Who else? Oh, she mentions Will and Jada. As part of the wanting to sleep with her at the end and absorb energy. Kim also allegedly says in this book that several people close to Diddy have all died unexpectedly of pneumonia. Do you know what Kim died from? Pneumonia. Yep. So your girl did a Google search. Please delete my history after I die, okay? Yeah. Are there like poisons that cause you to mimic the symptoms of pneumonia and die? And the answer is yes. One of them is carbon monoxide. One of them, like I'm assuming that's like a slow exposure thing. Cyanide, formaldehyde, I think was one of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so because it's just damage to your lungs, right? Bronchitis mimics it. I think there was something about not pulmonary embolisms, but some sort of like lung like clotting issue or whatever. So there are lots of things that look like pneumonia, lots of things that can be induced that would produce that. Yeah, because she was otherwise healthy, right? Like she had been sick, she went to the hospital, she came home, she died.